thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today evening. I hope that this will be a great session for you, where we are discussing one of the very vital topics on how to develop a virtuous vision. And we are going to have a great journey ahead to learn about how to have the virtuous vision, which is very, very important. And in the middle of the session, I'm going to tell you the importance of it, or probably we will discover the importance of having a virtuous vision. Please remember that through these webinars, what exactly I'm trying to do. I am trying to teach you certain life skills and attitudes which are absolutely essential for any human being to live a happy and prosperous life. So we all want physical well-being. We also want emotional well-being. We also want intellectual well-being, and we also want social and spiritual well-being. All types of well-being is absolutely important for a human being, right? Neglecting any one of this type of well-being will create a great amount of disbalance, disharmony, unhappiness, lack of peace of mind, and unhappy experience of life, because of which a person will not be able to bring out the best from themselves. So through these public webinars which I give, I talk about one of the types of well-being for the people, to teach them a particular life skill or an attitude essential for living. So today again, we are discussing on the emotional well-being. Okay, the virtuous vision, seeing good in others, is an attitude of life. It's also a life skill. So therefore, I'll cover it in two ways. I will also talk about the attitude. I'll also talk about the life skill or a habit. So this is what we are discussing. It is absolutely critical for any human being, for having a good experience of life, to develop the virtuous vision. What is a virtuous vision? To be able to see good in others. Okay, so let me start my program with this brief introduction. Okay, so now this is power has come. Let's begin our program. I am on my slides. I have a short presentation for you. Please be with us for the entire time. Please note that everything which I speak has a connection. It's a logical flow. So if you move out in between, you may actually not learn. So be fully present for the next 60 minutes with me to learn this life skill and attitude about virtuous vision, how to see good in others, and why it is so important for us. All of that will be covered today. So learning the art of seeing good in others, how to have virtuous vision. In the very beginning, I want to tell you, dear students who have come for learning this life skill and attitude, first important thing to note for everybody, as we are talking about vision, we are talking about how to change our vision, how to have virtuous vision. So in the very beginning, I want to tell you, we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. Now, this could be very surprising for most of you. This could be sometimes even shocking to actually understand. But this is a fact. None of us are seeing the reality. All of us are seeing this world through our vision or through our lenses. What do I mean to say we see the world as we are? It means that depending on what type of internal attitude you have developed, that type of vision you are actually going to have in this world, right? So just like if I put a spectacle over my eyes and the spectacle has blue color, how this world is going to look to me? If I take a spectacle which is blue color and I look at this world all around, how is the world going to be looking to me? The world will be looking all tinted with the blue. Everything will look bluish, right? I will not see the real colors. I will see everything with the tint of blue. Okay, I remove my blue color spectacles. I just take the red color, a red color spectacle or goggles. If I take them, what will happen? Now I look at the world. Now the world will look very different. Now everything will look very reddish, with a reddish hue. Everything will look reddish to me, isn't it? So actually, something similar happens to us. We have an internal spectacle or internal goggles which we wear. Those internal goggles is called as our attitude, right? Based on our attitude, we actually see this world. We don't see the reality, we see the world as we are. So this particular session will be greatly beneficial for each and every one of you, because it will refine your attitude to be able to look at this world in a much better way. Okay, so going back to the presentation, let's see what I exactly mean. I'll give you an example for this. I'll give you an analogy for this. But before that, I want to tell you something. For most of us, we want to have a dichotomous vision of this world. Uh, we probably think of this world should be probably like a white or a black. It should be good or bad, right? So, but it's going to be, it can be seen in a very different manner. Let's look at that. But before that, I'm giving you an analogy. Right on my presentation, there is an example or analogy which will explain what I just now said. Let's look at the beautiful garden. I am going to take you to a beautiful garden, not physically, but in my presentation. Imagine you are entering a beautiful garden as you're looking at my screen. Imagine you are entering a beautiful garden. You know, isn't it very beautiful? It's surrounded with so many flowers, beautiful flowers, so many flowers, correct? So many different types of flowers. Some are red, some are blue, some are pink, some are yellowish, white, different types of flowers. Imagine you have entered this beautiful garden which is filled with flowers. But do you know what? In this garden, we can be looking at two different things. Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. In this garden, we can be becoming like a honeybee, or we can become like a housefly. Let me explain this to you. Those who adopt a vision of a honeybee, they will get attracted to the flowers, accept the pollen. So the honeybee goes from flower to flower to collect the pollen and the honey as we know it. So either we can be like this honeybee, who chooses the flower and goes over there to drink the nectar, or we can be like a housefly. In the very same garden which I showed to you, there is soil. In the very same garden, there is soil and there is poop. There is stool of some animal. There are so many beings which come. There are birds, etc. Right? They pass their shit or poop. Right? So one can choose to be like a honeybee in that garden, or one can choose to be like a housefly in that garden. It's absolutely an internal choice which we have to make. Now the honeybee makes a choice to go to the flower, whereas a housefly chooses to go to the poop, isn't it? For the housefly in that garden, she will ignore and neglect whatever flowers are all around, and it will zoom on to that little piece of stool which is there in some corner, and it just goes over there and starts drinking whatever she drinks. Right? Starts sucking out the juice, foul substances from that stool. It's called as a housefly. Whereas a honeybee in the same garden goes to flowers, ignores all that stool which is there. In fact, if you do not have even a garden, if you have a filthy dustbin, there are certain areas in a city which are just like, garbage areas. You have seen, all of you, maybe in your own community, in your own colony, in your own society, or at least in your city. You might see an area which is filled with all the filth and garbage and, all around. Within that filthy place, there is one single flower also. The honeybee will just go in that filthy place and will ignore all the filth and dirt which is all around and select that flower to sit upon and drink the nectar, even in such a situation. So, my dear friends, we have a lot to learn from the honeybee, and we have a lot to learn from the housefly. It's up to us what we want to become. Do we want to become like a housefly, or we want to become like a honeybee? It's internally our attitude which we have to develop. If we become like a honeybee in the garden of life, we choose to see the good in people, which is right there. The flowers are the good qualities in the people, the good habits, their virtues which they have, right? So that's called as developing the good vision, the vision to see good. It's like becoming like a honeybee, right? Whereas if we do not learn this attitude, we might by default be behaving like a housefly. Look at the world around you at present. Is it not that most people in the world are like housefly? Think about it. I'm not wanting to have a housefly type of vision for myself, but is it not that what we have, the world which we are in, this we are living in, there is so much of criticism. which we actually hear. For one single mistake of a person, they just highlight in the newspaper, and now there's social media, and they just keep talking about it. This person did this wrong, this person did that wrong, that minister had done this mistake, and that minister had done that mistake, and this is going on wrong there, this person has gone wrong there. We just keep talking so much ill about others. Actually, look at the social media, look at the newspapers, look at the television channels. There is so much of criticism of people all around. And then look at yourself, probably look at your own surroundings. In general, you find that into 21st century, most people are they just very quickly want to say or speak about the faults of others, right? Faults of others. Oh, this person has that fault, that person has that fault. Most people, when they gather together, they are actually talking about the faults of somebody else, isn't it? Oh, you know what? This person had that bad mistake, and that's going wrong over there. In my school or in my college, this professor is bad, and this teacher is not good, and this subject is absolutely bad. This student is not having that. There's so much of negative we actually talk about today. How many of you have witnessed this happening? Either you doing it, or seeing that most people in this world are actually talking more critically about others than to find good in others. So please write your experience on the chat box, and let's begin the discussion. Yeah, you can type it on the chat box. What's your experience? If you say yes, that most of the people, what you see, that they speak of faults of others, you can say yes, they speak of faults of whatever. Or in case if you feel that something else, then you can speak that on the chat box. You can write it on the chat box. Yes. Also, Vineet is saying people don't let go of the past, of the mistakes of the person. Exactly. Very true. Very true. Yeah. So Twitter is being used for criticizing people so much, actually. I mean, one small mistake or one small thing goes wrong here and then, and the whole world is talking about it. Especially if you are a celebrity or if you are a known person. That's not something which we actually would want to do. This is not the society which we would ideally want to have. In fact, this is not, it does not give us any happiness, actually. It doesn't give us any happiness. Although we may feel that I'm actually doing something nice, or relatively I'm feeling better than others by doing so, that, but it's actually only harming us. Yeah. Thank you. So most people actually are discouraging others, finding faults in others. Nobody encourages anybody. Yes. And the same thing happens to us also. You see, same thing happens to us also. There is a lot of criticism of people. So this question which is coming here, that isn't criticism good, I'll take at the end. I know this is a good question also. I'll speak about it at the end. So much of fault finding nature which people have, isn't it? And the same thing happens to us also. We also do the same thing to ourselves. When we do make mistakes, we are not able to forgive ourselves also. When we start thinking negative about ourselves also, or we are very insecure to tell it to somebody else. We feel lonely to be able to say our mistakes or our faults to somebody else, because we don't know whether they will put it on the social media and I'll become the talk of the town, in a negative way. So actually, this type of society breeds insecurity in the heart of people, breeds negativity in the hearts of people, and therefore there is a lot of stress, there is a lot of anxiety, and the relationships are becoming very, very feeble. People cannot trust each other if you hear criticism from people. In a society where people criticize others, nobody can form relationships. Nobody can put trust on anybody, and therefore we are always insecure. We are always feeling lonely. That's why it is very important for us to change ourselves, right? Have the virtuous vision to see good in others, to become like a honeybee and not to be like a housefly. Right? So now at this point of time, I want to ask you all, how many of you wish to be a honeybee? You don't want to be a housefly. Save and accept, of course, there is a question that is criticism always bad? There is one place where criticism can be helpful that I'm going to talk about at the end. But first, definitely, we don't have most people giving positive criticism or positive feedback to us. We're talking about negative fault finding. Okay, how many of you wish to become a honeybee? If you want to be an honeybee, either you can say type yes, or you can raise your hand, or you can just put a thumbs up on the Zoom. Yes, thank you. I'm seeing everybody doing that. That's really amazing. Some of you are saying that bees have awesome vision. Yes, correct. And we want to also become like that honeybee, so that we can be always going from flower to flower to flower. What a beautiful life it is, isn't it? Why to be like an housefly, who only goes to some filthy thing and just talks about it and speaks about it to others. Okay, good. That's very nice. Since you all have chosen to be like a honeybee, let's talk about how we can be developing that type of vision. Okay. In the same garden, the flowers are there and there is poop. But what we see or what we focus on depends on how our internal state of mind is. Please understand, my dear students, that to become like a housefly or a honeybee is an internal state of your attitude. Therefore, what we are going to refine today is your internal attitude first, and then also, of course, a certain change of habits. Okay, it's going to be interesting, and we have another half an hour for that. So, first of all, I want to teach you something. A very short but very important thing. What is that? Every human being has two sides. Human beings always will have two sides. This is what something you must know. What is that? Everybody in this world has a divine side, but they also have a dark side. Please note it. There is nobody in this world who can be said that they are just divine. They don't have any dark side. In this world of human beings, you will find a divine side and you will find a dark side also. Okay. So Sri Krishna speaks about this in the Bhagavad Gita. When he's talking to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, you will find that 16th and 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita talks about divine and demoniac nature. So the divine side and the dark side of people. So Sri Krishna, when he speaks about this in the Bhagavad Gita, he doesn't labels people. He doesn't say this person is divine and this person is demoniac or only dark. He doesn't say anything like that. He doesn't talk about people. He talks about characteristics, right? He doesn't talk about people being in themselves divine and people being in themselves demoniac. He talks that the divine and demoniac are two types of virtues or qualities. If a person develops divine qualities, they become divine. Right? If a person unfortunately focuses only on the dark things and develops only the bad habits and wrong type of ideology, then the dark side comes out in their character. So Sri Krishna tells to Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, know this one thing, that no one is eternally a rogue. No one is eternally damned person. No one has only dark side in them, and not that eternally they are going to remain having a dark side. This is first thing which we all need to know. Many times in our mind we put label for the people. We say this person is very good. Actually, they are very nice. Especially if they have given you some comfort or benefit, they have given some care to you. They have spoken good to you. The experience is good with that person. You say, oh, very good boy, very good girl, very good, very nice person. But if they have given you some wrong experience, they have hurt you, or they have done something wrong with you, right? Then we say, a very bad person, So the thing to note over here is, such kind of labeling of good or bad is not correct. Such kind of labeling of good or bad is absolutely wrong. Every human being in this world has two sides. This is what you must know. The divine side and the dark side. Both are there. All right? Both are there. Now, which one of the two are you going to focus upon? It's totally up to you. I'm going to explain this in the next, coming slides for the next we are discussing. Okay? But here the point is, what do you choose to see is absolutely up to you. Do you see the divine side or do you see the dark side? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Please note that even people whom you call or label as good or divine, you may sometimes see some dark side in them. And the people whom you are presently labeling as having dark or demoniac side or bad people, right? Even they may have a divine side. Note for sure that everybody in this world has both these natures within them, right? The divine and the dark. Okay. However, Bhagavad Gita also teaches further. Bhagavad Gita teaches that inherently all of us are not just the mind or our habits. Inherently, we are all part of God. Inherently, since we are all part and parcel of God, we inherently tend to become divine. This is something which is a change of attitude which I want to make, which I want that all of you make in your life. If we are going to think inherently people are going to choose the dark side, it is wrong. Actually, Sri Krishna explains this in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, that everybody is part and parcel of God. Everybody is a part of God. And God is filled with goodness. If God is filled with goodness, then we know that everybody in this world can go to divine side. However, the experiences of this world may also make them go towards the dark side. All right, this must be understood very, very well. If you look at the people, those who are in the prison, those who are murderers, those who do a lot of crimes, even such people, you will find many of them may have some divine qualities within them. And given the right type of environment, given the right type of care to them, the good behavior to them, right, acceptable social acceptability, these people will also turn into something good. This is the vision which actually Krishna is giving to Arjuna. Don't see anybody as permanently having something bad. No, actually, everybody internally is part of God. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti yaha asham brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapitaha. Shri Krishna says that in the 14th chapter, that everybody in this world actually is a divine person, is a part of God, and God is filled with all goodness. If God is filled with all goodness, you expect that everybody in this world will be a good person. Then why there are wrong people? Because of the environment of envy, environment of hatred, environment of insecurity, environment of hatred and exploitation in this world. People may also develop the dark side. So that's why at present in this world, we will find that everybody will have the divine side and the dark side. Divine is their constitutional nature, dark is their conditional nature. Please note what I am speaking to you. Divine is the constitution of everybody. Everybody tends to become divine. But because of the wrong experiences and exploitation in this world, people also receive the dark conditioned nature. Is this very clear to everybody? I'm talking about constitutional nature and conditional nature. Constitutionally, everybody is divine, including yourself. Including the worst people in this world. Constitutionally, they are divine. But because of the bad experiences and exploitative nature, bad exploitative experiences in this world, they may also develop the dark side. This understanding, if becomes clear, developing a virtuous vision can be very easy. That's why I'm making you first understand the wisdom and then help you transform your attitude. Let's go ahead. Okay. So this constitutional and conditional thing should be very clear for you. Okay. So divine is there. What is there? Divine is there constitutional nature. Right? Whereas dark is their conditional nature, which is because of the bad experiences in this world. Yeah, this is clear. Divine is constitutional, dark is conditional. It is temporary. Divine side is permanent, but the dark side is temporary. That is why you have this reformatory programs. Those people who drink lot of alcohol, we give them Alcoholic Anonymous programs. So what happens? They give up alcoholism, they become good. Why is it possible for a person to give up their bad nature and develop divine nature? Because divine side is permanent. It is constitutional. Right? Somebody was a smoker, they can change. Somebody was a murderer, they can change. Okay? Anybody can be changed in this world. And the divine side can be originated. Divine side is permanent. The dark side is temporary, conditional due to the bad experiences of this world. Okay? With this understanding, let's go ahead. And this is applicable for all of you also. Some of you might be feeling a little depressed, who might be feeling, oh, why did I did that mistake? Why did I do something wrong? Please note that within you, you are actually a part of God and you have the divine side. Therefore, to live a happy life, to live a life filled with divinity is actually natural for us. And that's why we are craving. The fact that you have come to this program shows that you want to live life of divinity, isn't it? We want to live a life of divinity. It's natural for everybody. It's very natural. That's why I say that divine side is permanent or constitutional, whereas the dark side is due to the wrong things in this world. Okay, which can be changed. All right, let's go ahead. This is very hope-giving, isn't it? So to develop a virtuous vision means only two things. Please note. Now, this is something you can note down in your notebook also. If you want to develop a virtuous vision, you need to do only two things. Number one, you need to develop the right attitude towards the world and, of course, the people. Just now, I told you what should be the right attitude. And second, you cultivate the habit of focusing on the divine, not on the dark side. So I'm going to tell you now about the attitude further for a few minutes, and then we are going to talk about practices or habits. Okay, that's how I've divided my presentation. It's clear, I hope. So you only need to do two things to develop virtuous vision: develop the right attitude, which is what I'm explaining to you in depth, and to cultivate the right habit, which is what I will give you as a exercise or practice. Okay, let's go ahead. But even before we go ahead, you need to tell me now why cultivating virtuous vision matters. Why at all spend some time to develop this virtuous vision, seeing good in others? Why exactly we need to do that? What is your view? Why do you think that developing this kind of virtuous vision is important for you? Why should we at all spend some time on this? Think about it. You can type it and I'll read it for everybody. So Vinayak says this will make this world a beautiful and better place. I agree with you, Vinayak. That's true, which is what we want to experience. Akash says that positive world is a better place. Yes, positive energy is spread. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So a lot of people are negative today because of this critical attitude, this being so critical about others. Positive energy will be there if we have divine. If you look at the focus at the divine side. Varun says that we become what we see in others. Exactly. So if you keep seeing the dark side of others, that same bad qualities will come inside you. If you see the good side in others, that their good qualities can inspire you to also do something good. Wonderful. Okay, Harini says so that the receiver enhances their virtuous side. Correct. So because if we see virtue in them, they will actually change. Some of you are thinking like, what is the best way to change a person? What is the best way? Like I just read somebody saying that constructive criticism. Again, what is, probably you don't know, you probably have not parented anybody, you have not given care to anybody. That's why you say that. What is the best way to change a person? Make them divine. It is to remind them of their divine side. It's not to tell them that you are wrong here, you're bad here, you must change here, you must. That never works actually. You are all going to be parents in the future. I'm going to tell you that. It never works. It never works when you keep telling, hey, you are bad here, you need to change here, you are wrong here, you come on, I'm going to give you constructive criticism, come on, don't do this. It never works here. What works is when you tell to people, this is where you are good at. This is so much wonderful in you. This is so much good in you. So if you see maximum positive, people respond with positivity, and with whatever negative inside in them, that will go away. The dark side, I am not saying dark side is not there. I never said that. I said people have a mix of two, but we want to focus on the divine side. By focusing on the divine side, one important thing happens, as Harini is saying, is their virtuous side increases. And whatever dark side is there, it just goes away. By focusing on the divine side, people's divinity increases, and whatever little bit of dark or whatever more or little of dark will be there, that will just go away. That's the best way to actually help people to change themselves. It's not by reminding what they have done wrong. It's by telling what good they have in themselves, right? That is the point. So I have seen many of you giving such beautiful points. I want to show this to yourself. I'm going to have an experiment with you. Let's have a small experiment and spend 3 minutes for that experiment. On your chat box, you will look now at a form. This is the Google form. You can click at this Google form and do this experiment which I am giving you. You can see it for yourself, how it works. So what will you find in the Google form? There are 3 questions. So just before you do that exercise, hold on. Everybody, please hold on. Please hold on. Please choose any number. Just close your eyes. Choose any positive integer. Anything, anyone. Whatever you want. Just close your eyes. Fix that number. After you have fixed that number, now you read the form. Whatever number came to your mind, just read the form now. So the form will ask you that what was the number which you selected? Was it even or odd? If you had chosen even, right, even number, then think about somebody whom you love very much. Think about someone you have a lot of affection for, and think about their good qualities. At this point of time, I would like you to probably write down their good qualities. Any 3 good qualities in them, you just write down. Okay, this is a request. And if you had thought about the odd number, then you should think about somebody who has harmed you, somebody who have hatred feelings for, somebody whom you don't feel very happy to think about. So think about them and think about 3 negative qualities in them, or 3 faults in them. 3 faults in them, 3 negative qualities in them. Think about that. So either you will be having an odd one or you will have a even one. So if you have odd, after you have thought about the faults, how you felt, you write down honestly over there. If you have thought about the even number, then what you actually felt after writing the good qualities, write down, your feelings. And of course, if you had the odd number, you will say NA for the even question. And if you had even number, you will say NA for the odd question, right? That's very simple. So this is an experiment. Let's see what happens. So let's share your responses now. You see, here is what your responses are. Was the number odd or even? So you spoke about that. And then if there was the even number, I had requested you to think about their 2 or 3 good qualities, and after thinking about their good qualities, write down how you're feeling. So some of you who did this correctly, yes. So here, if you see those who had actually thought about the negative in others, they started feeling stressed and heavy-minded, correct, and angered, correct, felt bad, felt sad, felt it was criticizing me, felt selfish, yeah. So felt angry, want to teach them a lesson. I have to teach them a lesson, and felt disturbed. I'm feeling negative now. So the whoever chose that, I'm feeling negative. I don't want to talk negative about others now. Yes. Okay. Angry, adamant, feeling sad and scared. You see, selfish. So if you spoke just by speaking negative about others and focusing on that, you get all the negative things. Whereas those who actually wrote here the right responses that we see. So those who chose the even number and their feelings they are sharing, feeling grateful for whatever they have done. Just see, feeling of gratitude has arisen. Now I feel they are important to me. So they are feeling the feeling they're good about the person and good about themselves. And somebody's feeling that they want to inculcate all the good qualities. Very kind, very nice. So another person felt inspired, feeling blessed to have somebody in life. You can see it's very, very simple. Felt very happy and positive, feeling loved, feeling grateful, feeling gratitude, feeling happiness. Is it not just a small experiment? If you see, I hope that you got the point as I made you see and made you do, and thank you for the exercise. You can see this, how much developing a virtuous vision actually benefits you to have positivity, right? It's actually our choice. Now I made you do that for 2 different people. I can make you do this for the same person. In the same person whom you actually find bad, there may be some good also. And this I leave as a homework for you. Think about it. Write down the name of a person whom you have unhappy feelings for, whom you feel hatred for, or unhappy feelings. You think about, do they have no good quality? Or is it that they may have some good qualities also? If you focus on that good which they have, believe me, they will reciprocate with you in a better manner. They will reciprocate. Their behavior for you will change. Just by having a positive understanding about them, when you approach them with those positive feelings that, yeah, this person also had something good, their behavior, the other person's behavior will change towards you. This is a well-known fact. People behave to you the way you approach them. If your mindset while approaching them is, this person is so bad, this person, all has all the dark things only, then they will respond like that. Okay. If you approach them with a lot of positivity by looking good in them, they will also respond in that way gradually. Okay? This is a well-known fact. This will be very helpful for you in relationships also. Many times in relationships, there are problems. So there is the child can be having a tussle with the parents. Parents can have tussle with the children. The spouse can have a tussle with each other. Friends can have tussle with each other. The brother and sister can have tussle with each other. So this can happen, right? During those times when there is problems in the relationship, you need to focus on the divine side of the person. Problem is, there is a tussle in relationship because you have started focusing on the dark side of the person. Whenever you choose to focus on the dark side of a person, you want to hurt them, you want to harm them, you want to as somebody said, teach them a lesson. That's why I was not very happy to hear about positive, constructive criticism, etc., because that is there. I agree that constructive criticism, etc., has its place. But that's to be done only when people ask you to give feedback. It's not that we have to become a self-appointed counselor for everybody. We don't have to become self-appointed teacher for everybody. Nobody likes to be given feedback. So only when people ask you for, can you please help me, I want to improve myself, can you please give me some feedback, if you have a good relationship with that person, after speaking 60-70% good about them, you might speak 20-30% what you feel they can improve in themselves. That is a right way to behave. Constructive criticism, there is a way to actually give. It's not like we just say something negative. No, that does not work ever. First of all, you need to see the good in them. Even to give them constructive criticism, the basic necessity is you should be seeing good in them first. Otherwise, you only are going to hurt them and harm them by giving some some criticism, actually, right? So seeing good in others is essential, even if you want to give them a constructive feedback in a relationship problem. For example, you have with your sister or brother or a friend or a spouse or whatever. You might want to help them improve them. Therefore, I told you the way to improve them is focus on their divine side. If you focus them on the divine side, actually their behavior changes. Do you think after the age of 15 years, is there anybody in this world who does not know if they behave badly, they don't know they have behaved badly? Do you think? In this world, after the age of 15 or 16, up to the age of 15, 16, okay, they may not know because they're children. But after the age of 15, 16, if they behave wrongly, do you think they don't know it? They are behaving wrongly? They know it. Then what's the need to keep on telling them? If it is lack of knowledge, we can definitely tell them about the knowledge. But we don't have to tell them you are wrong. You can just tell them this is to be done this way. That's all. So seeing good in others is an absolutely critical necessity in every relationship, especially also when you want to teach them something. Especially if you want to teach them something, at that time, it's even more necessary that we actually first see the divine side. Let me go ahead now. I'll end this program with speaking to you in a very short time. So there are 5 types of people. One who sees only bad and can't see any good in others. Second, one who sees both good and bad but chooses to focus on the bad. Third, one who sees both good and bad and is neutral about both of them. And fourth, one who sees both good and bad and chooses to focus on the good. And the fifth one is one who sees only good in others. Now, the 5th type of people are absolutely rare in this world. They're absolutely rare, and there are hardly anybody you will find like that. But what we can reasonably become is, it's up to you, of course. I want to know from you, out of these 1, 2, 3, and 4, what you want to become. Can you type on your chat box and tell me, what do you want to become? Out of this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, what type of person do you want to become? 4. Some of you 3rd, some of you 4th. Yeah, try to be 5, but at least 4th. Yeah. Good. 3 or 4, 4 and 5. Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. So you can see, we would probably want to drift towards either 4 or 5. Being neutral is something in which, in relationships, it's not possible. In relationships, especially, you need to be either positive or negative. So you either will tend to be 2 or 3, 2 or 4. Being neutral is something, again, which is almost impossible in a relationship. But if you have a relationship, you can either be 4 or you can be 2. With those whom you don't have any relationship, you might have 3 also. Okay, thank you so much for that. So we all want to get towards the 3 and 4, as you see, which is going to be helpful for us and helpful for others. So what is a right attitude? Let me explain to you. See, either you can have a worldview like a hotel, where you will think probably that everybody should have perfect behavior towards you and perfect behavior in this world. That's like considering going to a hotel where you would probably want the meal to be perfect, isn't it? So if you're sitting in a hotel, you have ordered a meal, you want the meal to be having perfection in the taste. That's why you have paid money, right? Otherwise, why will you pay money for it? Why will you go to that hotel? So if you have a hotel worldview in this world, you want everybody to be having perfect behavior. Always they should have perfect behavior towards me and towards others, but this is not going to be true. What vision, what attitude you can have is, I'm going to tell you. So the hotel worldview is not at all a view which we should have. Whereas most people in this world develop hotel worldview. What is the right worldview to have is a hospital worldview, where we know that everyone, including ourselves in this world, is recovering from illness. Remember, I talked about the divine and the dark. So everybody is divine naturally, constitutionally, but they're recovering from the dark side. In a hospital, if you find somebody sneezes, achoo, or somebody has a fever, you're not surprised. Are you surprised if you go to a hospital, if somebody has a fever, somebody is having some bone fracture or sneezing? You will not be surprised. You will say, yeah, he is actually a patient. And the good thing is they're taking the medicine. The good thing is they're taking the medicine. So the medicine which you can give to people by having the hospital vision is to see the good in them, right? If you really want to help people cure from their dark side, don't focus on the dark side. What help will it be to a person who has a bone fractured and you tell them, bone is fractured actually. You know what? This bone is so important for you, but still you see you have fractured bone, it looks too odd, right? When you are having like this, isn't it? There's nothing which you are helping him by that. Whereas the medicine, if you give, then that person can get cured. So if we have the hospital vision in this world, we will not be unnecessarily jumping on the criticism and critical attitude. Oh, you have this negative, you have that negative, and this and that. Rather, we will be kind and empathize with them. This is very much needed in this world today, my dear students. What this world needs is empathic people who can show kindness towards others. I am doing a lot of research work at present on emotional well-being. You will be shocked to know that this world today is going to face major challenge on mental and emotional health. So, what is the most important thing which people need today is care and empathy. They don't need your words of criticism or negative quality or this, that everybody knows if they're doing something wrong. If they're above 16 years of age, they know that they are doing it wrong. What people need is your empathy. What people need is your kindness. What people need is your appreciation, your encouragement. And in fact, we also need it. The amazing thing is, if you give it to others, you will get abundant of it. Whatever you will give to others, you will actually get it back. Okay, you keep speaking ill about others, people will speak ill about you. You will keep getting that also. Faults. People will speak fault of you. You speak good about others, amazingly you will find that the world responds to you, and you will also see kindness and empathy in others. Okay, so that's the right attitude to develop, not the hotel attitude, but the hospital attitude. Okay, let's end our program now by telling about the right habit. Step 2. Stop judging others. This is what I want you to request. If you want to develop virtuous vision, you need to stop judging others. Okay, being judgmental towards others is absolutely detrimental to have good relationships and to help them in any way. Okay, you might see somebody behaving in a wrong way, but you may not know the reason behind it. Okay, this is very, very important to know. Somebody may behave in a wrong way. I am not saying people don't behave in wrong way. I agree with it that people might behave in wrong way, but there could be a reason for it. I'm going to tell you an example. So you should know that everyone is going through some internal struggles like that inside the hospital. Everybody is going through some internal struggles. They are having some disease. They want to give up that disease. Our behavior towards them should help them to give up that disease, not that it aggravates that disease. Just give you an example. So this is a story. Once in a train, what happened? So there was this young boy sitting in the train. He was around some 14 years or 15 years of age, and his father was sitting beside him. And in front of this boy, there was a young couple who had recently got married. They were sitting. So as usually happens, what happens is the young couples actually keep talking to each other, right? So the wife was talking to the husband. So the wife was talking to the husband, and suddenly the conversation was stopped because the child, although he was around 14 or 15 years of age, he was seeing outside in the train, and he started excited. Daddy, just see outside what's happening. Then everybody started looking, outside. What is happening? What is happening? He said, Daddy, why the trees are going behind? Why these trees are going behind? Why it is happening like that? And the wife told to the husband, he is a 15-year-old boy. What is he speaking? Trees are not going behind. What is this? He's a stupid, crazy boy, it seems like. Then again, they started the conversation again. After 10 minutes again, the child started exclaiming, Daddy, just see outside what's happening. Just see what is happening. And then everybody again started looking outside. And they said, Daddy, that clouds, these clouds, see, why they are going behind? Why they are going behind? So now this time the wife shouted at the father, has your boy gone crazy? Is he a mad boy? Is he going? Take him to a mental asylum. Why don't you take him to some doctor? Why don't you take him to some hospital? He's behaving like a crazy person. And the father, tried to relax that lady and said, Madam, actually, I'm just coming from a hospital only. They said, oh, really? Is he mental? He said, no. Actually, he was blind from birth. And just now he had been operated. And now he has got his eyes back. And therefore, he is excited to see everything which is outside. He does not know what's happening, whether they are going behind or whether they are going in front. That he needs to understand now. But he's so excited to see the world from his eyes, which he never had. Hearing this, the lady started crying, oh my God, this boy is first time seeing the world from his eyes. And therefore, he's so excited about the trees and the clouds and everything else, which his father has told him. So, my dear students, you need to know that everybody in this world may be going through what internal struggles. We have no idea about it. We have absolutely no idea about it. Therefore, before you judge somebody as wrong, you should be very careful about it. Better not to judge anybody. My experience in this world of guiding people, thousands of people, meeting around everybody, every single person, even with lots of negative habits, bad habits, etc., when they approach me, they always want to become better. They always want to become good. So therefore, this habit of judging others and telling them, you are wrong, you are negative, you are bad, or this, that, is actually the greatest trouble which we can actually give to people. Stop judging others. Why they are behaving in some way, there could be a reason. And one important reason is they are not feeling loved. They are not feeling cared for. So if you really want to help them, give them some love, give them some care, give them empathy, give them some kind words. Okay. Next point, last point for the day. And we'll end with this. Okay. So second thing, one thing you should stop. You should stop judging. Okay. Stop judging. And what you should do, start appreciating others. Look at whatever good a person has and appreciate that, and know for sure that good will grow. Please note that, my dear students who have come today, to get the virtuous vision, this is one single habit which will pay you a lot in life. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything to appreciate others, but it will really help you, and it will really help the world, and it will really help people. I'll give you an example of how we mine the gold from the gold mines. This is one of the gold mines, and gold is a very precious metal. Everyone knows about it. But how do we mine it up? In order to mine the gold, to bring out the gold from the earth, you have to dig the earth a lot, and you have to keep on digging, and you don't get the gold. You only get the mud. You only get the dirt. You keep digging and removing the dirt for a long time. Finally, you will reach to a small amount of gold. But that gold is very precious, right? So similarly, my dear students, you need to know, just like the gold has to be mined from within, the good also can be mined from within the hearts of people. For mining the gold, you have to work hard. You have to first, you don't have to, if you start focusing on the filth and the dirt, right, you can never get the gold. because you'll be so frustrated. My God, so much of dirt, so much of dirt, so much of dirt. You have to keep removing it, removing it, removing it, removing it, removing it. Then finally you may get some gold, right? So this is the way we have to behave with people. This is the virtuous vision which we want to develop. In the beginning, a person may, when they are the whom you know and whom you have hatred feeling towards, they may have something bad, some dark side. I agree, but please look at the gold or the good within them, which will be there for sure. And if you don't focus on the dirt, keep removing the dirt, keep removing the dirt, keep removing the dirt, you'll finally arrive at the gold, which is the good in the hearts of people. Please note, everybody is part and parcel of God, right? As Sri Krishna says it in the Bhagavad Gita. With this understanding, you can mine for the good in the hearts of people, and you will definitely find it. I'm so grateful that you spent your time with me today. It was very nice, enthusiastic response from me, so many of you. I hope that today you have learned something great, which can help you in your life. Recap is, we see the world as we are, not as it is. I talked about the constitutional and conditional. So the constitutionally, everybody has divine side. Conditionally, they may also have the dark side. I also talked about the hospital and the hotel worldview. So we don't have to be in the hotel worldview that everybody has to be perfect, which is never going to be there probably. In every divine person which you know, you may find dark. And every dark person whom you know, there is a lot of divine also. So then I also talked about the 2 habits. Stop judging people, start appreciating people. Thank you so much for coming today. It was very nice to have you today evening. Thank you so much.